Jody Avirgan here. I'm glad you're enjoying 30 for 30 podcast, part of a special collection of sports audio documentaries from ESPN Films. We're finding the best sports stories for you right now. And to do that, we're behind the wheel of the Mini Countryman, the biggest mini yet.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
To find great sports stories, you have to get out into the world and follow your instincts. That's where the Mini Countryman's all-wheel drive comes in handy. With all four, we can chase down a story in the city, the country, and most places in between. Podcast equipment isn't very bulky, but even if we're hauling a lot of gear, there's plenty of cargo space for all your stuff. And if a few of our producers tag along, no problem. The Mini Countryman comfortably seats 5 adults. The Countryman may be big, but it still drives like a Mini thanks to the twin-power turbo engine. No matter what story you're chasing, the Mini Countryman will help you find it. It's available now, and so are 30 for 30 podcasts. Visit miniusa.com/countryman today.
It is Stugotz and Mike Ryan filling in for Ryen Russillo today. I guess I'm Will Kane. Is it Russillo and Kane yet? I don't know.
I don't know if they're going by that. Are they official? Are they official?
I don't know. Cerruti, is it official that is it Russillo and Kane yet, or does that happen after the new year? What happens here?
It's been announced January 2nd. Let's go.
Okay, so it's been announced, but not until January 2nd.
Right, but Cerruti, what I'm wondering is, are we filling in for just Ryen Russillo today, or are we filling in for Russillo and Kane today?
You're filling in for just Ryen Russillo today.
Okay. All right. So it's Stugotz and Mike Ryan sitting in for Ryen Russillo today. He is in a talent meeting right now. We were not invited because we are talentless, and so we're here doing the show. And we have been on the air for 4 hours, so this is our 5th hour on the radio. I'm already exhausted. I can't imagine what the show is going to sound like and what I'm going to feel like coming up at 3 o'clock. How are you holding up there, Mike?
I'm really tired because I get here a lot earlier than you do.
Yes, you do.
As a producer of the Dan Le Batard Show, I got to get here earlier to prepare for a show. We hit the mics at 9 a.m. local time for the local hour, so this is a true marathon for us. And this is a first for us. I know we just did our first show together over the weekend on Weekend Observations, and then all of a sudden, big league call-up here all the way to Russillo's show.
Yes.
And soon to be Russillo and Kane.
Yes. I am happy for you. I am not happy for me that I'm sitting here doing the show, but I want to showcase you today. That's what I want to do. Todd McShay is going to join us at 1:30. Now, we were offered the chance to do an entire hour with Todd McShay. I wanted to do that desperately. You did not. Like, I want as much McShay in my life as possible. You did not want McShay for an entire hour on the show today.
I would have loved to have spoken to Todd McShay for an hour. I would have figured out how, but the way it was pitched to us was, hey, you're starting the show with an hour of Todd McShay.
Right.
I'd find that a little odd because most people haven't really heard me. The people that are listening to Ryen Russillo, let's get real, I don't think they're that familiar with the executive producer of the Dan Le Batard Show. Mm-hmm. So it'd be a weird introduction, wouldn't you say? Hey, it's me, the producer of the Dan Le Batard Show. Here's an hour of me with Todd McShay. Out the gate.
I mean, I guess, I don't know. I feel like we could have made it work, but it's fine. I don't want to blow up the construct of this show. They have a good show.
I do.
Well, I know you do, but I don't. So we're going to have McShay on. We settled for a half hour of McShay.
Yeah.
1:30 to 2. We'll talk draft and whatever else we want to talk about with McShay.
His hair.
Yes. His first mock came out, his hair, which is fantastic. In fact, I would say, here's my gold, silver, and bronze medalist for hair at ESPN.
Writing these down.
Okay? The bronze medalist for hair at ESPN, believe it or not, is Cerruti.
Really? Oh, yes. No,
yes.
He does. He's got a great lid.
Cerruti has, and I'm not certain Cerruti's not the best-looking guy at ESPN.
He's a very good-looking man.
Yeah. Cerruti, how do you feel about that? Are you properly rated there?
I'm blushing, so thank you, guys. Really appreciate that.
Right.
I think I used to have a bun, so I think you're thinking of when I had actual long hair. It's now all gone, so I'm sorry. Sorry to disappoint
really?
you there.
I was thinking about you with the bun. That's
the last time I saw you, I think.
Yeah, the bun and the hair. So what, is it completely shaved off now? Or?
Yeah, it's pretty short, simple dude look.
But the fact that you can grow it out to a place where you have a bun and the bun actually looks good on you, I still have you as my bronze medalist. McShay is actually my silver.
He's
medalist.
also my silver. I was going to say, yeah, because I think we agree on who's our gold, and there was a big debate about silver and gold. Silver is McShay, and what I like about McShay is he has the ability to sort of go with the seasons.
Right.
You notice right now it's fall. His hair's a little bit darker. Mm-hmm. Once he starts talking draft in the springtime with Kuiper, all of a sudden becomes a little bit strawberry blonde.
Right. Yeah, I have noticed that. It's interesting. So we have Rhys Davis, right?
No.
Oh, really?
No, even though Reese is my fourth, I was going Will Kane number 1.
Wow.
Yes, because we've said often Will Kane looks like golf, but Will Kane's got a great lid. That lettuce you can put in a hat.
Yeah.
It'll come out the back. It looks great. Not unlike Cerruti, but I guess I'm doing the thing where Will's more famous than Cerruti.
Yeah, I guess. Cerruti, how do you feel about that? Will Kane's hair.
It's totally fair. He has more of like the clean cut, like part look. So I respect his decision. I respect your decision.
But what I respect most about Will Kane is, yes, he can tighten it up and it could look great and very professional. But I'm sure on the weekends he can literally let his hair down.
I think Will Kane right out of bed, like right when he wakes up, I think he looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. Wavy, good
and
hair.
Now's the time of year where he starts putting sweaters over dress shirts.
Right.
That's such a good look, especially for him.
It really is. Cerruti, are we on TV today? I have no idea. Like we have no idea what we're doing here because we're down in Miami. We're down on South Beach. This is where we do our show, the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz, 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, ESPNU. We're on in too many places. Are we actually on television today?
It's a funny question because I got an email from our TV producer this morning asking if we were on TV, in fact, and no, we are not. Just radio.
Okay.
So
All right,
you guys aren't cool enough. I'm sorry. Maybe in a few years.
All right. So how should I feel about this? We weren't invited to the talent meeting, and we're not on TV today. Like, what's on if all the talent's in a meeting, then what's on TV today? Because we're here grinding it out, doing 7 hours of radio. What is on ESPN News today, Cerruti? What's on in place of us?
Golic and Wingo re-air. I think this is the third straight time it's been on. So live, one other re-air, and then this the second re-air.
Right. I see Windhorst on ESPN. How'd he get out of the talent meeting?
Why'd you get out of the talent meeting?
Someone had to do the show here.
Yeah. I think what's going on is there's a handful of talent that maybe already had their meeting because McShay, he's going to be joining us for at least 30 minutes while this meeting's going on, and he's going to be all right. What made him so special?
Well, his mock draft came out.
Oh, big day for him.
Yeah,
yes,
so they needed him.
That's why we're talking to him.
Right. Anyway, it's time for Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. We'll update the Le Batard Show polls coming up next, and then McShay's going to join us at 1:30. And all the benchmarks and games that they play on the Russillo Show, I've requested, made a request to Cerruti that we play them all in one day. In fact, I might want to do it all in one segment. Just play every single game that they have and just mash them into one segment, maybe 1 hour. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But, Mike, you were big on this. We're down here in Miami, and I think the Stanton story down here is, for a lot of different reasons, is a lot bigger and a bigger discussion point than it is anywhere else. Because in most other places, especially New York, it's being celebrated.
Yes.
You have Judge, you have Stanton, you have this great lineup. Who doesn't want to see that lineup? I'm a Mets fan, and I can't wait to watch the Yankees, okay? That's how excited I am to see Judge and Stanton and Sanchez and all the other guys in the same lineup, and they might get Machado, too, from the Baltimore Orioles. But what people don't realize, and I don't expect them to, I don't expect people to know the history of Miami Marlins baseball and how many times this fan base has been let down by the owners and by Major League Baseball. I don't expect you to know it, but it's a totally different story down here, and it is not one of celebration. It is one of major disappointment. It's been a sad week down here.
Yeah, disappointment, but also anger.
Yeah.
People are fired up about this.
Yes.
And this is one of those cool parts where I realize, hey, we have some influence because of our place, our day part here on ESPN Radio.
Right.
The national discussion, I kind of feel before we sort of came along, and Dan, who's been crazy passionate about it this week, was one of celebration. It's Giancarlo Stanton going to the Yankees, paired with Aaron Judge. This is a dream for Major League Baseball. This is very good for Major League Baseball. And it doesn't matter to them that Miami's very angry. But we're going to try to prove it to you that we are, because what happened down here was damn near criminal to this market.
It's really bad. I mean, just the optics alone on it are confounding. They really are. Where you have Rob Manfred and Major League Baseball selling a team, the Miami Marlins, to Derek Jeter and his group for $1.1 billion. And then you have the optics on it. Just forget about everything else, the optics. Then Derek Jeter, who grossly overpaid for the team, doesn't have enough money to buy the team, and is paying himself $5 million a year. His first major move is by trading the reigning NL MVP at the age of 27 to the team and the market that he had a Hall of Fame career with. A team and a market that he will always love more than the team in the market that he presides in right now. He will never love the Marlins the way he loves the Yankees, and he trades Stanton. His first order of business is to trade the reigning NL MVP to his old buddy Brian Cashman and his old team, the Yankees. It is such a bad look on so many levels for Major League Baseball and for Derek Jeter.
I'd like to get into some more of this in the next segment because I know what the reaction is nationally to a bunch of guys from Miami complaining about what's going on with the Marlins. You didn't care about the team. You didn't go to the games. We see what that looks like on television. You need to understand the history of what's happened in this to this market when it comes to baseball. We don't go to the games because we've been betrayed by Major League Baseball. Every time you've gotten to know a player, every time you have a generational player like Miguel Cabrera or Giancarlo Stanton, they're gone. And it's a vicious cycle where the owners do this to the market, but then they say they hold up the attendance because of their actions. They get to say no one came to the game, so that's why we had to do this.
Right.
But no one's coming to the game because of your action.
And a quick history lesson for people who don't know. Wayne Huizenga was the original owner of the Marlins. They won the World Series in 1997. He spent a lot of money to win that World Series. The next year, he broke the team up. He eventually sold that team to Jeffrey Lurie and David Sampson. They came in, they operated, they lucked themselves into a World Series in 2003. Then they started to trade pieces of that team away, and now the team was just sold to Derek Jeter's group, and the first order of business for Derek Jeter is to take this team and start picking it apart, and you're going to be left with a minor league team. That's it. You're going to be left with a minor league team. And so you want to, say the fans are bad down here, that's fine. Maybe they're not the best fans in the world. But any fan base, I don't care who it is, deserves better than what the Marlin fan base has gotten from Rob Manfred in Major League Baseball. Any fan base, the worst fan base possible, deserves better treatment than what Marlin fans are getting down here.
And to your point about fielding a minor league baseball team, now reports are circulating that Marcell Ozuna is on his way to St. Louis.
Oh, boy. All right, coming up next, that's Straight Talk, by the way, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. Coming up next, we're going to update the polls from the Le Batard Show, and we're going to get you ready for Todd McShay.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I've never felt more alive.
Disclaimer. Geico cannot guarantee you will feel more alive. You either possess functioning respiratory and circulatory systems, or you do not, or you are a zombie. If you are indeed a brain-starved zombie and you would like to save money on car insurance, the Geico legal team applauds your excellent life choices, even in your shambling afterlife. But we strongly encourage you to visit geico.com or download the Geico app. Please stay a minimum of 500 feet away from our large and presumably delicious, delicious brains.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Mike, do you want to update the polls real quick from our show? For those of you who don't know, Russillo is in a talent meeting. I am Stugotz. This is Mike Ryan. We're filling in for Russillo today. We host the Dan Le Batard Show, of course, along with Dan, 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNU. And so the guys are in a meeting today, and they asked us to do two shows. And so we're gladly doing the two shows here. We're doing it with a smile.
Gladly.
Yeah, we're doing it happily. We're doing it with a smile on our face. At least Mike is.
Yeah, you're dragging.
I'm tired. So anyway, at Le Batard Show on Twitter, we update the polls at the end of every show, and we didn't have time today because we were talking about Giancarlo Stanton.
Because Dan was yelling at Major League Baseball again.
Dan's fired up. So I would like Mike to update the polls right now. Again, it's at Le Batard Show on Twitter.
This one dates back to the local hour of our show. Was that good entertainment or was it uncomfortable? Do you remember what that's in regards to?
Yeah, that was Dan calling the owner, the majority owner of the Marlins, and I can't remember his name.
Bruce Sherman?
Bruce Sherman, and he got his assistant on the phone, and I found it to be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan was threatening, too, saying, we're going to call you every day until I speak with him.
What was her name?
Chris.
Right. Then I called Chris, and I buttered her up for about 15 minutes, and we're having dinner tonight.
All right. Well, 52% said uncomfortable.
Okay.
So maybe Dan needs to work on his tone a little bit the next time we try that.
There's no maybe there.
And there is a post-it on this computer saying try it again tomorrow. So he's dead set on this.
Okay.
Next poll. Do you believe Kendrick Lamar when he says he saw an alien when he was 6 years old?
I do.
That comes from a Howard Stern interview Kendrick Lamar recently did. Kendrick Lamar doesn't do many interviews, and I guess because he'll just readily admit that he's been abducted by aliens. 57% of the audience said no, they do not believe Kendrick Lamar was abducted by aliens or saw an alien.
All right.
This one's one of yours right here.
Okay.
Has Billy Donovan underachieved?
I think Billy Donovan's done a fine job as the coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder. So no would be my...
Well, 69% of the audience say he has underachieved.
How has he underachieved? Someone explain that to me. Billy Donovan came in. It was a perfect job, but he came in. It was Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook. He got them to the Western Conference Finals. They were up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals. They ended up losing. It had nothing to do with Billy Donovan.
I think it's that part where they ended up losing.
Well, okay, they lost to, a team that many people call the greatest team they've seen in the history of the NBA. And they were up 3-1 on that team, and Billy Donovan did not squander that lead. Kevin Durant did, and then once Kevin Durant couldn't beat that team, he decided to join that team. And then the next season, without Kevin Durant and just Russell Westbrook, Donovan got him back to the playoffs. So they're struggling 26 games in this year, but I'm going to give them some more time because that Oklahoma City team, it's funny, Mike, when you see them play, there have been a handful of games where everything's clicking. That game against Golden State where they blew them out and Golden State was healthy, where you watch that team and that team looks really, really good. There are also nights where they look really, really bad, but it's 26 games in, and I'll give them 50 games or so to figure it out before I start crushing Billy Donovan.
Yeah, but what you just described is a 500 basketball team. There are good moments and bad moments, and that's what the Oklahoma City Thunder are right now.
All right.
Should Mike McCarthy have -3 rings?
Yes.
The audience agrees. 63% say yes.
Right, so we take the one that he has away, and we give him -3, so we're subtracting 4.
Yeah.
Because he should win more rings with Aaron Rodgers.
The most egregious was blowing that game against Seattle.
Right.
Everyone wants to point to the onside kick. Shouldn't have gotten to that point.
Right.
Is Adam Vinatieri going to still be kicking field goals as a mummy in his 90s?
I would say yes to that.
So does 87% of the audience.
All right.
Are you a self-serious gasbag if you refer to the NFL as a National Football League?
I would say no.
81% say yes.
Okay.
You agree with only 19% of the audience.
Okay.
Did you know that every time John Travolta goes to the bathroom in Pulp Fiction, something bad happens?
I did not know that till today, but now that I think about it, yes, every time he does, something bad happens.
60% of the audience just learned that for the first time, too.
All right.
Do you feel shame when you land in the minority of one of our polls?
I never have, but I'm certain people do, yes.
Well, 47% are feeling shame right now because yes is in the minority of the poll. Oh, this is a big one. I have to open up a new window for this. This is one of the more hotly contested polls that we have, and it's one of the most important.
All right, hurry up because you got about 20 seconds here.
Who is your favorite friend of the show? Let me vote for who I think. And the winner is, wow, this is astounding, Jason Leisure with 54% of the vote.
Get out of here. He's a Dolphins beat reporter for the
Palm Beach Post.
For the Palm Beach. Cody didn't win that thing?
Leisure.
I thought for sure Cody would win that thing. All right, Todd McShay going to join us next to talk about the National Football League. Stugotz Mike Ryan filling in for Ryen Russillo today on ESPN Radio. Todd McShay going to join us in just a second in studio, giving us the Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. What did you got a text during the break there? Who texted you and what was the text about?
When I was updating the polls, who's the greatest friend of the show, and Jason Leisure from the Palm Beach Post, who only joins us, by the way, on the local hour.
Right.
He won the poll overwhelmingly.
Yes.
But Adnan Verk texted me,
right.
I'm a top 5 friend of the show according to that poll. To which we looked at each other and said, isn't he supposed to be in a meeting right now?
Right.
And I asked him, are you texting us from the meeting? And he just responds with one word, busted.
The talent meeting that's going on in Bristol right now. Now, I did learn from Cerruti that he is sitting right next to Ben Lyons.
Yeah,
which of course he is.
Yeah.
I mean, Adnan is always sitting next to Ben Lyons. I imagine, now Todd McShay is in studio right now, so I imagine that pairing makes sense. Like if you're going to a group meeting at ESPN, it would make sense that Adnan be sitting next to Lyons. But I am guessing right now I don't know how McShay got out of this meeting, but I'm guessing if he went to the meeting and Kuiper was there, I think most people would think, hey, it makes sense if McShay was sitting next to Kuiper, but I'm guessing McShay would sit as far away from Kuiper as possible. Todd, is that fair?
I'd probably wind up sitting next to him, only because Mel can't get from the bathroom to a studio, and so I'd wind up having to direct him there. I don't even know how he got there without me getting him on the bus.
Well, how'd you not get there?
Yeah, see,
I don't know, man. I guess the mock draft, I've been on every show today, starting at 9 a.m. I've got College Football Live, NFL Live, got to tape a bunch of hits after. I think they're just trying to get the most out of me today. I got a couple things to say to you guys, first of all.
Okay.
One is...
Yeah, well, he probably has beef with us.
Oh, no, I have no beef.
Okay.
Well, because you know what I'm going to say. It's kind of weird. I'm going to address the elephant in the room. It's kind of weird that we're talking to you because you know how much Dan hates the draft.
Oh,
and anytime I say Todd, I want Todd on the show, he yells at me. He throws a phone book at me, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure. You know what? I still love your show, even though I know he hates me. That's fine.
Thank you.
That's good. One, you guys are animals.
Okay.
I've got a long work day, but 7 hours of radio is no joke. Congratulations. 2, Mike Ryan, when are you getting your own show? 3,
am I getting my own show?
Yeah. Just stew on that for a second. 3,
okay, I'm a stew.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I came on with you guys, you said that I seemed a little angry, and then you sent me off with the Musburger 2nd down and 9, which is a clear indicator that I was angry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I was, so I went back and I checked the tape. I was really angry.
You were?
I think a month of just sitting in a dark room and then watching tape and then going outside and being freezing cold. I think it got to me, and I didn't even know it. So thanks for pointing it out, guys.
It's soul-crushing, I imagine.
Yeah.
Well, we sort of wanted to ask you about what else do you do with your time, because I can't really imagine you just binge-watching something on Netflix or going to a movie. I just always imagine you breaking down a temple guard.
I break down some Netflix, too. I've watched like Ozarks and some different. Yeah.
What's Todd McShay's favorite movie?
Ooh, favorite of all time?
Yeah. Have you seen one?
Yeah, I've seen a few movies. I haven't been to a movie theater in years, though.
That's not surprising.
Of course you haven't.
Like 10 years, probably.
Well, you're clearly
the last
always.
movie I saw. What was the one? Oh, jeez, Batman Return. No, it wasn't Batman.
Dark Knight.
What's that?
The Dark Knight.
Yes. What year was that?
Oh, well, Heath Ledger was just dead.
Yeah.
So.
Like 10, 12 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, what was that, 2011?
It's pretty pathetic.
Yeah, well, judging by your tan, you're never in a movie theater. This tan is perfect, and I was talking during the break with Stugotz that
we'll get to your mock draft here.
Yeah. Actually, maybe we won't.
Yeah,
not as important as what I like to call the tan to teeth ratio.
Oh, nice.
I got you number 1 on my big board. The tan and how rich that is.
You guys have really been breaking me down today.
Yeah,
I
compared
heard some hair too. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get to the
hair too, because your hair, not unlike the leaves of a tree, changes with the seasons.
Well, I have the worst tan possible right now. My hands and my face are tan. The rest of my body is very pale, and it's because I'm outside for 16 straight weeks at games. Like the last game I did was Orlando, 3.5 hours just baking in the sun. Texas, Oklahoma.
So this is all. So you're alleging this is a natural tan?
Oh, this is a natural tan. Plus, I've had like 5 different updates on makeup today. So when they put that spray stuff on you,
you appear sun-kissed.
No, the makeup ladies did a good job then.
Yeah.
Will Kane does too. Now, speaking of Will Kane, okay, here's what we need you to do.
Okay.
Because we have a medal stand of people who have the best hair at ESPN, and my bronze medalist is Cerruti. Okay?
Great hair.
Yeah.
Better hair before, but great. He's doing the exec thing. He's got to please the suits.
Right. Now, last time I saw Cerruti, he had the hair. He had it grown out long. He had a bun. And so just the fact that I know he can grow that out and looks good with a bun, for me, that solidifies him as the bronze medalist at ESPN.
Completely legit.
Okay. We have you as the silver medalist, and we're sorry if you're insulted by that.
No, I'm actually not. I'm shocked to be on the list.
Okay. Now, Mike and I thought that, because you have great hair.
Thanks.
Mike and I thought
it's beautiful.
Yeah, we thought that we thought we were on the same page with the gold medalist, and clearly we're not. And so what I'd like you to do is, in your best kind of, draft presentation, is kind of break down these two gentlemen's hair, okay?
Yep.
The first one, don't do it yet. I'm just going to tell you who the two guys are.
Okay.
We are split here. I went with Reese Davis. Mike Ryan went with Will Kane, which I was. Will has nice hair, but I was shocked that he went with Will Kane.
Will has the hair of a Disney prince.
Okay, Todd McShay, if you could, draft expert, you have watched the film on both these guys' hair. Can you break down first the hair of Reese Davis?
Reese Davis is a classic talent. I mean, he's a guy that you look at and you feel like he just rolls out of bed and his hair is exactly how it was before he went to bed. The perfect part. It never moves. He's got the nice dark flow to it and really consistently shows up day in and day out with the same hair, the same color, the same part, the same look. This guy is the model of consistency.
All right. Now, so you may have swayed Mike here, but now you can have a chance to sway me, because now I need your analysis on the head of hair that Will Kane possesses.
Will Kane is much improved. If you go back and check his tape, a.k.a. his media zone picture, if you just Google Will Kane and study that tape, you're going to see a guy who wouldn't even have been in the conversation. So what he's done is he's gone to work every day. He knew what he had to do. He just understands the game, and he understands that, hey, if I'm going to be a TV star, if I'm going to be on TV every day, if I'm going to be on with Stephen A. Smith with my takes, I've got to have the right hair, and I've got to make it look good, and I'm going to also bring the beard with it. I think that's a big part. Don't overlook the beard. It kind of all flows together. Will Cain, to me, is maximizing his skill set right now.
You are good. I mean, Le Batard has no idea what he's missing out on.
Fantastic.
It was fantastic. You are. We love you, McShay.
The one time I was on with you guys, I had a tone violation. So
yeah, you did. So far today, fantastic, and so much so we're going to bring you back for a second segment, and because you were so good, we'll actually discuss your draft.
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe. Possibly.
Okay.
McShay released 1.0, the first mock draft. It was like Christmas morning for me when I saw it. It's fantastic. More with McShay next on The Russillo Show. Continue on with Todd McShay. We'll get to his mock draft here in just a second. There's a big talent meeting going on up in Bristol right now.
Is this Goo Goo Dolls?
I have no idea.
Nailed it.
It is Goo Goo Dolls?
I think so.
Were we playing that ironically?
I'm getting a thumbs up from the crew here.
All right. So there's a big talent meeting.
Mike, that's not you're not rolling that out, are you?
I do so ironically.
Oh, you do?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. You're better than that.
I've actually been to a Goo Goo Dolls concert.
Have you really?
Ironically.
Wow.
Really?
Yes. In fact, I have Post-its. This is actually a weird revelation. I have Post-its hanging on my fridge, and it's Goo Goo Doll. It's a Goo Goo Doll notepad that I just have in my kitchen. That's funny. I'll send you a picture.
God,
yeah, no, I swear.
I wouldn't be bragging about that, but that's cool.
No, but I do so ironically.
Yeah, I get it.
What's the cheesiest concert you've ever been to, McShay?
Cheesiest?
Like the one that you're most ashamed to admit that you went to it.
Dave Matthews I went to a handful of times.
I kind of like Dave, though.
Oh, you would.
I mean, I kind of like Dave, right.
Well, how old are you, Mike?
I'm 32.
32. Yeah, that 8 years is a big difference, I feel like.
Right. He's a hipster,
no,
man.
I'm not defending it. It is what it is.
All right.
How about you, Stugotz?
Oh, I've been to, I've seen Barry Manilow.
Stop it.
I'm jealous, actually.
No, I'm serious.
No, I would totally go to Manilow.
I've seen Manilow, McShay, and I've also seen Neil Diamond.
Oh, I saw Neil
Diamond.
Dude, McShay, it's such a great show. I had front row for Neil Diamond last year. It was amazing.
There was a lot of Neil Diamond going on in my house growing up.
Was there really?
Yeah, my dad was a big on the record player.
Really?
Yeah. Most people my age got into Neil because of Saving Silverman, which is one of those good bad movies.
Yep.
Right.
And he's become a sort of icon. I got so into his music, and they're catchy as hell. He actually has so many great songs that he doesn't even perform that's been redone. You know that great song, Girl, You'll Be a Woman Too, from Pulp Fiction?
Yes.
Neil Diamond. Red, Red Wine, Neil Diamond.
Oh,
was it really?
God.
Yeah, man.
Why'd you get him started?
And the cool thing is they're all Neil Diamond versions of these songs.
Doesn't he have to pay a fine for this?
Oh, I got to talk like Mel Kiper.
Yeah, but it's a new show. Yeah, you have to talk. You have to break down songs.
Todd, Red, Red Wine by UB40. It's actually a Neil Diamond song, and you could actually check it out. It's definitely a Neil Diamond song. You could pot it up on your Apple Music or Spotify. Red, Red Wine by Neil Diamond. Absolute classic, Todd.
Perfect.
All right, I just want to ask you a quick question because this talent meeting's going on, and the three of us were not invited because we don't have any talent. And so, but Mike and I were laughing during the break. McShay, how do you imagine this goes down? So, Greeny's in the talent meeting.
Yep.
And Wingo is in the talent meeting.
Yep.
And Golick walks into the talent meeting last because he's always late. We imagine Golick to be last in the talent meeting. I'm going to ask Mike first and then Todd. How do you imagine? So Golick walks in. Greeny has taken his seat. Wingo has taken his seat. They're on opposite sides of the room there. Does Golick sit closer to Greeny or does he sit closer to Trey Wingo?
I think he sits closer to Wingo, but I like to picture it differently. I have Golick and Wingo already at the meeting. Golick is sitting next to Wingo, but he has an empty seat next to him, and he's reserved it for his good friend, who is now fashionably late because he's big time and he moved to New York. And he has an open seat next to him, and in comes Mike Greenberg, and they lock eyes for a little bit. And Greeny then turns away and sits next to Jalen Rose and Michelle Beal.
I like it. Now, I'm going to play your game, even though I'm looking at Trey Wingo right now as he's hosting NFL Live, but I'm going to play your game.
Oh, he is, so he's not in the meeting. Okay,
right.
But hypothetically. Okay.
Theater of the mind.
Okay.
I just feel like it's like that awkward vibe when you're in the restaurant with your new girl and then your old girl comes in. You know, where you start getting like, you play it off cool. You're not going to let anyone see that you're nervous, but your heart's pounding. You're sweating a little bit.
Right.
This lady killer's been in that situation a lot, apparently.
You seem experienced, McShay.
No.
All right, let's get to so your mock came out here, your first mock of the year, and I guess nothing's really changed from the standpoint of you guys all said before the college football season that if all these guys came out, there's going to be 5 or 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round. What's interesting is I was not, now this is just me, and maybe you're seeing things that I'm not seeing. The 2 guys you have at the top, Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen, man, Todd, I'll just say it. I wasn't terribly impressed with either of those guys this season.
This is a really hard class right now because I know the talent is there with the top 3, Rosen, Darnold, and Allen. Allen played the worst of all of them at a lower level school in Wyoming. His 3 losses when he was healthy were against Iowa, Oregon, and at Boise State. 6-1 in play against non-Power 5 teams. But he didn't improve this year. And listen, he lost 4 guys to the NFL on offense from a year ago, and though you just don't reload at Wyoming. He has the arm, the mobility, he has the competitiveness, he can do a lot of things that very few people, even in the NFL, can do at the quarterback position. But the 2 areas that are most important are in terms of success in the NFL are accuracy and decision-making, and that's where he has been very inconsistent. Darnold and Rosen, I mean, listen, I feel like I've been a defense lawyer all fall long, and I can't excuse some of the things. I think Rosen is more polished and ready to play in the NFL today. I think Darnold has the intangible qualities and the ability to extend plays, and I think when given the supporting cast that's solid, I think that Darnold is going to wind up being the best of the group. But right now, I also think he'd be wise to go back to school and gain some more experience. So it's a tough call he's got to make. Go back to school and be better set for maybe the long term of his career, or do I take the $20-25 million of guaranteed money?
Well, Todd, I'm actually a Browns fan, and the Browns are going to be picking number 1 overall. So this is obviously a hugely important decision for them. It just seems to me, in watching Sam play and hearing you break him down, it seems to me there's more bust potential with Sam Darnold, just in sort of the reckless way that he plays. And the Browns have to get this one right. Do they have the luxury of being patient and waiting for this guy to not be a bust? Why not go with more of a sure thing in Rosen?
There's no such thing as a sure thing when taking quarterbacks. There really isn't. And so much of it, unfortunately, look at Jared Goff, man. After 1 year, we were ready to write him off. Then he gets a little bit of better supporting cast and, much more importantly, a coaching staff that knows how to coach the position and is going to work to maximize his strengths and what he does best. And all of a sudden, he's playing like he is this year. So so much of it is where you wind up. I mean, some of the guys that the Browns drafted may have been good other places. But I worry about anyone that winds up going there, although I do think that they can coach the position there. Now you have to have a general manager that's going to get some consistency in terms of the organization. I would bet on Darnold. Rosen is more polished and is a better quarterback, but there are concerns in terms of loving the game, needing the game, coachability, etc., that scare me more than some of the things we saw on the field from Darnold this year.
All right, Tom, we got about 30 seconds left here. Who's the best player? Is it a quarterback or is it someone else? Who is the best player in this year's draft?
I think Saquon Barkley, the Penn State running back. 235 pounds to move the way he does. He can catch the ball. He can block. I think he's going to be another one. We've seen Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott, and Fournette in the last few years. I think he's another one in what's becoming a pretty good line of running backs.
All right, Todd, we appreciate it. This was fun, man.
This
we
was
appreciate
fun.
it.
We'll have to do it again.
We'll tell Dan we like you, and we don't care what he thinks. All right, coming up next, we'll discuss Giancarlo.
Check out ESPN Film's newly released 30 for 30 podcast. From the producers of our award-winning documentary series, this is an amazing collection of sports stories you need to hear to believe. Speaking of amazing, Delta Airlines and the Fly Delta app make your travel experience amazingly easy with real-time bag tracking, e-boarding, and passport scanning during check-in. And don't forget to download 30 for 30 podcast to fill your flight with stories that will keep you coming back for more.
It is Stugotz Mike Ryan filling in for Russillo on the Russillo Show here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. We have a life advice coming up at 2:30 Eastern. You can tailgate right now for a half hour. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. You can also tweet the show through the 1-800-Flowers.com Twitter feed at Russillo Show. Capture the excitement of Christmas morning with 1-800-Flowers.com. When you order 12 peppermint roses for just $29.99, you'll get an extra half dozen and a vase for free. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. And again, reminder, big reminder, wait in line now. Start tailgating right now. Life advice, 2:30 Eastern. Right here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. Mike Ryan and I, we have entered the, we're giddy.
Yeah.
We are tired. We did 4 hours of radio before the Russillo Show, so now we are on our 6th hour of radio today, and we're laughing at nothing. And I keep asking Mike what he wants to talk about. And he keeps responding with a new show that he wants to debut on ESPN.
A new holiday special.
A holiday special called a Teddy Atlas Christmas.
Yeah, we're losing a little bit. But it's a good idea.
Here is Teddy Atlas, and this is why Mike thinks it's such a great idea. Here is Teddy Atlas on SportsCenter proclaiming his love for Stephen A. Smith.
I love you.
So, follow me if you will. Let's paint a picture.
Okay.
All right.
You really want to discuss this on air now?
Well, the setting. Okay. Someone's going to steal this idea.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to put together a storyboard.
Because it's a good idea.
A Teddy Atlas Christmas.
It is a good idea.
Now, before you go say this is ridiculous, ESPN would never do this, I saw on ESPNU last year, Christmas morning, over an hour of Mike Golick Jr. eating cookies.
Right.
And that was the only thing that was going on.
Riveting.
So ESPN can take some holiday risk here. So a very Teddy Atlas Christmas begins. We open up on a cabin in a snowy field.
Right.
And a blizzard has just come and sort of blocked the threshold to this home. And we go, the camera pans through the window, and you see a grumpy Teddy Atlas, Rocky in a chair. Mm. He was all jacked up to go spread holiday cheer, but the blizzard and the timing of it all has really gotten him down on the holiday. So you need to boost his holiday spirits. So who's going to do that? His friendly neighborhood Stephen A. Smith, who salts the driveway all the way to Teddy Atlas's cabin to spread Christmas cheer. But Teddy needs the joy of Christmas explained to him again because he's been so jaded because he's been locked in his cabin because of all the snow. The possibilities are endless.
Right. And when Stephen A. burst into the cabin to help Teddy out, Teddy responds by saying,
I love you.
There is. You were worried there, right? The producer, Mike Ryan, Cerruti. I got to be honest. I don't know who's pushing the buttons back there. If it's Mikey A, if it's Cerruti, I got to tell you, I threw that to sound, and Mike Ryan was a nervous wreck. He did not think you guys were listening. He did not think you guys would be able to.
Why would they be listening?
That's a good point. Cerruti, did you You're good because you listen. But were you as nervous as Mike Ryan was? Who was controlling the boards up there? Who was doing it? Is it Mikey A?
That's our boy Bubba.
Oh, wow.
Bubba's
good.
Bubba's good.
Yeah, Bubba's good.
So,
Cerruti, were you nervous at all? Cerruti, did you tell Bubba, hey, have the I love you ready? Did you tell him that?
No, he had it already. Come on.
All right. Bubba.
You're good.
You're good.
I love you.
Yeah. Oh, and I love you too.
As you were setting that up, I almost boarded a flight to Hartford and drove to Bristol to fire that sound off myself. Just a producer in me.
You also pitched your idea of a Teddy Atlas Christmas.
Yeah. I got to email the talent office.
It's a terrible idea. I wouldn't. I mean, you're a man on the rise here at ESPN. You are, Mike. I mean, you have Todd McShay asking when you get your own show, and you deserve your own show. And I am telling you, you are a coveted person. A person and a personality at ESPN, and this would set your career back a bit.
Well, when Todd McShay asked me when I'm getting my own show, I would love for my own show to be the Teddy Atlas Christmas special.
Right.
That's what I'd like to do.
Okay, there it is. You want to produce that show?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my dream, actually.
So, Rudy, it is so odd. Mike Ryan loves sports, okay? The way we love sports, okay? We love sports in a way that Le Batard does not love sports. He's not emotional. He's not passionate. Mike is. He's a fan. So, Rudy, you're a fan. Bubba, I know you're a fan. And I know Mikey A is a big fan. Mike loves sports. And I am telling you guys, so Rudy, I am telling you, I asked him a million times because I want to showcase I have my own show. I have made it. I'm doing the show with Dan. Yeah. And we do it every day 10 to 1, okay? But I'm asking Mike Ryan here because I want to showcase Mike Ryan to all the suits at ESPN because I think Mike Ryan's a very talented kid, and so do they. And I'm giving him a chance here to talk sports, and maybe it's the Le Batard Show. Maybe it's me and Dan have just rubbed off on him. But, Cerruti, I'm asking him the entire break. Mike, what do you want to talk about? Mike, what do you want to talk about? Thinking maybe Aaron Rodgers, maybe Giancarlo Stanton. Ozuna was just traded away from the Marlins to the Cardinals, and he just kept responding. A Teddy Atlas Christmas.
A very Teddy Atlas Christmas.
Yeah.
A very Teddy Atlas.
Cerruti, what do I do with this? Because you don't want to talk sports today.
Well, I mean, he has a dream, and that is not to have his own sports show, apparently. So I think you just let him fly the way he wants to go.
There's plenty to do with sports. Cerruti, there is an entire meeting right now that's just for talent.
Right.
We build talent at this network, and what I'm trying to do is build a vehicle around said talent.
Okay.
Mainly Teddy Atlas and Stephen A. Smith.
It's a weird guy.
Spreading the holiday cheer.
Right. But I'm just saying, of all the people, all the talent at ESPN, there's no way Teddy's in that meeting today, by the way. But of all the people who are there, there's no way.
I would say there is.
There is no way. Teddy, guys, we got to report that Greenberg is not in the meeting, right?
That is correct. I could find out if Teddy's there. Hold on.
There is no bleeping way Teddy Atlas is there. Mike, my point to you is, of all the guys you could hitch your wagon to at ESPN, all the talent, you want to hitch yours to Teddy Atlas.
Yeah, I don't think I'm wrong. I love him.
I love you.
I love you. There's no way Atlas is there. He got the invite. You click on yes, no, and Atlas's game with get the bleep out of here.
Oh, Atlas is at the spread right now. There is a spread, right?
There has to be.
There's got to be a spread.
There's no way Teddy Atlas is there. No way.
Really?
Zero.
I disagree.
Zero.
So you want to talk sports? You want to talk Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. And by the way, good job by Trey Wingo.
Yeah.
NFL Live. Like usually they tape that thing after this meeting's over, but Trey got the taping moved up today, so we didn't have to attend the meeting. There he is, right there. He's live. It's live. It's not even taped. It's live.
Bill Polian doesn't need to go to this meeting.
Bill Polian is not going to any meeting. He's done with meetings. Okay, you arrive at a point in your life where you're just done with meetings, and Bill Polian has arrived at that point. Aaron Rodgers. Interesting that he's coming back. Mike, the Packers they're going to have to, first off, thank you, Aaron.
Thank you so much.
We missed you. But they're going to have to run the table. And the schedule is hard for the Packers. They're going to have to run the table to get to the playoffs, and it starts this weekend with Carolina. I am amazed that one guy in the NFL, because I think the spread in that game was 9.5. Carolina was favored by 9.5. And now with Aaron Rodgers being cleared to play, Carolina's only a 2.5-point favorite. So he's worth a touchdown, essentially, is what Vegas.
I'm not surprised.
Right.
If there's one guy in the NFL to do that, it's him.
Right. And that's what Vegas is telling you. But this is going to be interesting because it's the game's best quarterback, and he's coming off an injury. I don't know. You think the Packers could – and Dan made a great point during our show. If he runs the table here and makes the playoffs, the only people that are going to benefit from it are not Aaron Rodgers. It's Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
Because he'll keep his job.
It might be to a long-term detriment of Aaron Rodgers if he saves their season.
Right.
Because I think we've known in Aaron's absence, even though Brett Hundley and the Packers have won back-to-back overtime games against lousy teams, let's be honest, he's surrounded by not very much over there. And he's been failed by the head coach and the general manager in Green Bay. And for him to save the day, by the way, if he does save the day, clear MVP. In my mind.
No doubt.
In my mind. And he might have won it just with his absence. I know that's a cliche. Oh, he's the most valuable player because look at them without him.
No, but
if he comes in and saves their season, wins at Carolina, against Minnesota, and then on the road at Detroit.
Agreed.
That's a very solid argument.
Okay, especially since Wentz went down, yes.
Yeah, for most valuable player. Mm-hmm. But if he saves their job, man, Aaron Rodgers, just look at what happened in that Seattle game. I know everyone just remembers, I think it was Bostic and that onside kick. That's not what lost them that game. They had one of the greatest defenses in league history beat at Seattle. They imposed their will, and they put their foot off the gas with the game's greatest quarterback. They do that often with this dude.
Right.
Because they're very conservative over there. I would love to see Aaron Rodgers with an aggressive head coach like Bill Belichick.
What's amazing is just how poor the talent is around Aaron Rodgers. So, and a lot of people, and I used to do this myself, where I questioned it. No, Jordy Nelson's good. No, Randall Cobb is good. Look at how good they were when Aaron Rodgers was out. Because if you play fantasy football out there, I have Randall Cobb on my team. When Rodgers is healthy, I play Cobb. When he's not, he hasn't been in my lineup for 7 weeks, for as long as Aaron's been out. He has propped up that offense and those guys and that coach so much, it's absurd. And so I know he's going to come out here and obviously try to win these 3 games and try to get the Packers to the playoffs, Mike. But I think Dan makes a really good point where he says it might be better for the long-term prospects of Aaron Rodgers if they don't make the playoffs here, because it might mean that they fire the coach and bring in some guy who's going to surround him with the right talent. It might be a blessing in disguise. It's actually not a bad take, and it's one I stole from Le Batard. Anyway, don't forget we have Life Advice coming up 2:30 Eastern. Get in line right now, people. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this. Life Advice. Okay, it's a Russillo special. 888-SAY-ESPN. 888-729-3776. We do it in 15 minutes. I have no idea what we're going to do next. Amazon has millions of toys and games. What do you got?
A Teddy Atlas Christmas?
Oh, yeah, Teddy Atlas. We're going to, well, if anyone can figure out a way to make this Teddy Atlas Christmas a good idea, I'd be willing to hear it.
I love you.
Outside of that.
That's a good start.
And listen, I'll even, if I have to, I'll fund it. If the idea is good enough. I'll fund it for you. Okay? Like, if ESPN doesn't want to do it, I will say, listen, ESPN, I'm going to fund this project. We're going to get sponsors behind it, and we're going to put it on the air. Mike's in charge.
Good. Because my whole idea is right now Stephen A. just showing up to his house, spreading holiday cheer.
Yeah, we have nothing past
But
that.
there are a couple musical numbers that I'm working on.
Okay, good. Stugotz and Mike Ryan filling in for Russillo today. Russillo was in a talent meeting. We weren't invited. Neither was Jorge Sedano. He's in studio with us right now.
I got out of the meeting.
Congratulations to you. It's a good job. What was your excuse?
Doing HQ this week.
All right.
Yeah.
My man. So check out Sedano later today on HQ with Le Batard and Poppy, ESPN, 4:30 on ESPN. Sedano co-hosting the entire week. We have Life Advice coming up at 2:30 Eastern. 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Now, I'm unfamiliar with the show. We're filling in for Russillo here today.
Yeah.
This is my 6th hour of radio. I'm starting to get very, very tired.
Did you talk about working out? That would be kind of commiserate with what they normally do, or what he does.
I did.
No.
I did chest and try yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me, I did chest too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Nice job.
I did back and by about like 5 years ago.
Right.
Yep. And so Russillo's in this talent meeting. What is Life Advice? Cerruti, can you explain, like, what do Mike and I do next segment with Life Advice? What's going to happen here? What happens with Life Advice?
So basically, people, mostly dudes, call in, and it's literally anything that they need advice on. So it could be relationship stuff. It could be money stuff. We have one guy, just a teaser, who wants to know about Bitcoin. So it's literally anything, and you guys have to give them and lead them in the right way.
Cerruti, should I invite my buddy Gus, who you met when you were here for the All-Star break, on this segment? Because my buddy Gus, so Cerruti and those guys were down here for the All-Star game here in Miami.
Right.
And I took them out. On a Sunday.
Cerruti kills it.
I called my buddy Gus.
Crushes South
My
Beach.
buddy Gus is typical Miami.
How into Hardwell do you think Cerruti is?
Cerruti's probably like a 9 into Hardwell, like
Yeah.
0 to 10.
Cerruti, are you married? Anything?
No,
I'm engaged.
engaged.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He got engaged down here, actually.
Him and his girlfriend were there, and my buddy
Why?
Gus. Him and my buddy Gus were hitting it off because Gus is the typical Miami bachelor. Like, he's about 40, slicked hair, tons of money, and just living the single life.
And also my dad.
That too. So he took us to a place called Kiki on the River for like a day party on Sunday.
Yeah, great brunch.
And I don't think, had you ever seen anything like that, Cerruti?
Not in Connecticut, for sure.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
Well,
that.
of course not, Cerruti.
It doesn't. I've been to West Hartford, not
Yeah,
quite.
bit of a
it's not
bummer.
Kiki
Yep.
on the river.
Right.
There's no bottle service with the sparklers coming out.
Well, Cerruti, did you sense he was regretting his decision to get engaged when he was checking this whole thing out? Or
No, him and his girl were jamming. They were standing on the tables,
Really?
doing the fist pump. They were good.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
He would.
Enjoy it now, Cerruti. That will go away soon.
There was some Miami Dolphins sitting to the
There
to the
was.
booth next to us as well.
The safety,
Rashad Jones,
Rashad
right?
Jones.
Oh,
yeah.
Friend
He
of the
was
showgram, by the way.
Yeah.
Rashad
Yeah.
Jones, even though he's never been on.
table next to us.
Really?
Yeah.
Balling.
Yeah.
I was balling too. Have you been to the Wharf down here in Miami? It's a pop up.
No.
It's a pop up. It's raging. I think they had like a $25 bottle of rosé.
So life advice would be find your own Gus, right? The guy who wants to still party at 40 and take you to the day parties.
It's good to see you.
It's Le Batard.
It's good to see you guys.
George Sedano.
That is Le Batard. You're right.
Yeah, that is.
Except he's 50.
Yeah, right. He's almost 50. Yeah.
Almost 50.
George Sedano, I can speak for Stugotz here. George Sedano is one of our best friends in the industry. It's kind of cool that all us Miami guys sort of came up here and we've known each other for over a decade.
We're like a little family.
Yeah,
very cool. Yeah.
It's good. So George was just hanging around here watching us do our show. So you heard the last segment and you heard my idea for a very Teddy Atlas Christmas.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. This is a chance that I think ESPN can afford to make.
Yeah.
I gave you the breakdown of we slow pan on a cabin that's in the middle of a field. It's snowy out. The doors are blocked in. We zoom in through the window and we see a very sad Teddy Atlas. His Christmas spirit has been broken because he is snowed in.
Poor Teddy.
He wanted to spread Christmas cheer, but now he's soured on the whole holiday.
Yeah.
Right? So who's going to boost him? Who's going to rescue our friend Teddy? Stephen A. Smith.
Of course he is.
Stephen A. Smith. Yeah. Now and maybe I'm not the right producer for this project, but there is the right producer out there. Maybe someone in Hollywood can help us out because I just merely had Stephen A. Smith salting driveways to get Teddy Atlas.
I mean, Ezra Edelman should be all over this. I mean, he made the OJ doc, right? Like this would be the next logical project.
He can call his next Hollywood shot.
Yeah, his 6-part series on Teddy and Stephen A. Christmas.
You would agree.
Yes.
Ezra can pick his next project.
Yes.
And this is the one that he has to do.
Yeah.
And he'd probably come up with the same idea you had.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, Stephen A. Smith blows out the blizzard with his hot takes.
Excellent. Oh, now you just made it more entertaining.
Yes.
Like I was questioning, George, don't you question a little bit? Mike is on the rise at ESPN.
He is.
People love Mike as a person, as a personality.
Yeah.
He can produce. There's a lot of things that Mike might be doing in the future here at ESPN. The fact that of all the talent at ESPN, that Mike Ryan would hitch his wagon to Teddy Atlas, is that a little bit strange, a little bit odd to you?
I mean, have you watched those post-fight discussions with him and Stephen A.?
They're great.
I mean, they're unbelievable.
They're great.
It's electric.
really
like if I'm Max, I'd be concerned that they'd just be the Teddy Atlas show on First Take.
You're going to have LeVar Ball in this holiday special. I'm running down names right now. This thing is going to happen.
Wait, so that's interesting. Do you think Max enjoys when Will Cain comes on the set of First Take? Do you think Max enjoys that?
I think, yeah. Why wouldn't you? Less work. He probably. I mean, wouldn't you? I would. I look at it as less work for me.
I mean, that's me. Okay, that's applying my sensibility.
Okay,
so yes, I'd be fine with it. But
I mean, I do a show with 3 people on radio too, so I'm good with that.
But I mean, when he comes on, Max becomes less and less of the. It's Stephen A's show, right? Okay. And you have Max, and then Will comes in, and then the more
Will's
Will,
the contributor, though.
Well, Will really agitates.
Will's
Stephen
the
A.
agitator.
Yeah, he is, but that's just his natural, just personality.
Right.
I mean, Cerruti would know. He's been working with him a lot lately. So
I love how pleased with himself Will gets on his face
when he has
smirk when it's working.
That smirk. Yeah.
Well, Cerruti, what do you think? Do you think Kellerman minds Cain's presence on First Take or no?
I think there's more of a rivalry between Will and Max compared to Will and Steven. For sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does. We have a guy in L.A., George's hometown, that has a suggestion for Teddy Atlas Christmas. His name is Neil. Neil, go ahead. You're on ESPN Radio.
Hey, guys. Yeah, look, I know y'all are fighting up for stuff to talk about and fill time and stuff, so I got one for you.
Wow.
Instead of having a very Teddy Atlas Christmas, do it on the premise of A Christmas Carol. Have Teddy Atlas be Scrooge, Stephen A. be that ghost that comes back to instruct him on how to live out the rest of his life, and then have Don King be the ghost of Christmas past. You can have LeVar Ball be the ghost of Christmas future. Pick somebody else to be the ghost of Christmas present, and then wind it all up with Mike Tyson playing Tiny Tim going, "God bless us, everyone."
I like the Tiny Tim casting.
Yeah. Neil, perhaps you were not clear, and thank you for the call, that we slow pan on a cabin in the field.
Right.
There's snow everywhere, and we slow zoom into a sad Teddy Atlas.
Yes.
That is not a Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
All right? So fundamentally, it just doesn't work with what we're doing. We're already in the cabin, and Stephen A. has already hot-taked his way past the snow into the front door of Teddy Seps. Where's the musical numbers? That's where I needed you, Neil.
Life advice. It is next. 888 say ESPN. Life advice next on ESPN Radio. It is the Russillo Show on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. No TV today, no ESPN news because we're filling in for Ryan. I don't understand if all the talent is in a talent meeting, why we're not on television today. They are re-airing Wingo and Golic and Wingo for the 3rd consecutive time today.
Well, you got to get your money's worth there,
I guess.
That's George Sedano.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Oh, yeah, Sedano's in studio with us. We're down here in South Beach at the Cleveland Hotel. It is time for life advice, guys. Are you guys excited for this? I've never played life advice before. I feel like it's a game.
Me neither, yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like a game.
Yeah. Are you,
I'm still unclear on these rules.
Right.
This one, I don't get this one, or overrated, underrated, properly rated.
We're gonna play
overrated,
that.
underrated, properly rated is pretty
We'll see about that.
Pretty much a
like
self-description,
there's
isn't
a
it?
lot of
Well, I don't
rules.
know. We'll see. You never know. And we'll play that game in the 3 o'clock hour.
All right.
That will be my 7th hour of radio today.
The marathon.
Oh, my God.
You should just do Bomani's show, too, today.
No, I'm not doing any more shows. Like, George, I thought this was the dream.
Yeah.
Having myself on from 6A to 7P on ESPN radio until I lived the dream, and it's no longer the dream.
You're doing the Francesa and the Francesa overtime show.
Correct.
Basically.
How long is this show? 5.5 hours?
I think it's like 6 or something ridiculous like that. And you're doing an extra hour.
I know. Tired, man. All right, Life Advice is brought to you by Upside.com, giving all business travelers the gift of a better travel experience this holiday season. Check them out today at Upside.com.
I would just walk in and go, what's the plan, bro?
Why are you sleeping until 1?
We need to start stripping it back down to the base.
It's your life and our advice.
Let me fix your life, not just your back porch.
All right, it is your life and our advice. Mike, you excited for this?
I'm so excited. Still unclear on the rules.
When you want Cerruti to go over them with you again?
Just one quick time.
Go ahead. Cerruti, Bubba, someone, tell Mike the rules here.
I mean, there's no real rule. I mean, it's basically just like do whatever you would do in this guy's scenario. So these guys are going to call in, tell you what their situation is, and you tell them what you would do or what you think they should do.
Okay.
All right, got it. Crystal clear now.
You got it?
Yeah. I'm good on the rules.
A little confused.
We'll bring you back to explain overrated, underrated, or properly rated.
All right, George, you ready?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's
do it.
Life advice. Is Gus calling in?
No, we should have Gus calling. He doesn't need life advice. He should be giving life advice.
He's at 11 right now.
Let's go to Brad. Brad's in Pittsburgh. Brad, go ahead. You're on ESPN Radio.
Hey, guys. Big fan.
Hey.
Thanks for taking the call. Wanted to ask about Bitcoin. I invested all of my family's savings into Bitcoin. First, when do I pull it out? And then also, do I tell them? And if so, when?
Have you made a lot of money on it yet?
Yeah, like if we're making money over here.
If you sold it today, would you have made yourself a good deal of money?
Yeah, some money. But should I tell them?
No.
Yeah, definitely don't tell them.
Yeah, definitely don't tell them. But
them.
I would tell them today. Like Jose Canseco had a series of tweets yesterday, which got him fired because he doesn't care. But the one thing he was right about.
Where was Jose Canseco working?
He was not brought back. And he was a part of the post-game and pre-game
for the A's.
Oakland A's
the
coverage.
Oakland A's. And now he's got a new show out in Caesar's Palace.
Renegades.
Called The Renegades. With who was it with?
Jim McMahon and T.O.
Oh, my God.
I'd go see
it's
that.
At Caesars.
I'm in.
It's at Caesars.
I would have thought it would be at Harrah's or something.
It's at
but it's at Caesars.
That means they're actually getting paid.
Right.
Yes.
Which explains why Canseco went on that rant because he didn't care if the A's brought him back because he's got bigger projects.
Right.
All right. But he did make some comments about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And how there are going to be very few people who make millions upon millions of dollars on this, and everyone else is going to end up losing money because they're going to sell at the right time.
Right.
So what I'm telling this guy in Pittsburgh to do, I forget his name.
Brad, I think?
Yeah, sell it now and don't ever tell your family.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Right.
We often have conversations during the breaks because we see the price of Bitcoin skyrocketing, and it's all this internet money. It's not tangible.
Yeah.
We don't even understand it or how it's a thing.
Yeah.
Bottom's going to fall out on this thing.
It is. I have a buddy who got in on the bottom floor of Bitcoin and is one of those guys that's made a lot of money.
Right. So when he sells it, George, there are a handful of guys like your buddy, okay?
Yeah.
When he sells it, price is going to drop.
Mm-hmm.
All the people who don't have the money that he has.
Yeah, they're going to lose it.
They're going to get crushed.
Yeah.
I would advise everyone to get out now. Everyone.
Also,
seriously,
crash the market.
Yes,
the government
crash the whole market. So the top guys. Well, that's not fair. What I just did to your buddy, because if everyone sells, then he loses his value.
I feel like the government's trying to figure out what this is.
Yeah.
And when they do, run.
We're all done.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's go to Cody in Alabama. Cody, go ahead.
Hey, guys. I love the show. I get the show. I've won T-shirts from the show, but I'm the one who sent the text in about feeling shame when I land in the minority of the polls. I guess this is for you two guys. How do you deal with shame other than just not having any?
I don't experience shame. That's how I deal with it. Yeah. It's very simple. If you've never felt the feeling of shame, then there's no way to really deal with it.
You have an immunity to it.
I don't know what it feels like. Yes.
A lot of people look at Stugotz as one of the missing links. He's actually the next step of human evolution. He doesn't have to deal with shame.
You should sell that as a vaccine, the shameless vaccine. That'd be great.
Spray this a couple.
It's like deer antler spray.
I don't feel shame, man.
Remember when that was the biggest problem in sports?
Yes, deer antlers.
Good time. Roger Goodell would kill to have those problems.
Wait a second. Did we have the deer antler guy on?
No, but that guy.
You didn't? That's so you guys.
No, well, remember he was parading around Radio Row in a tank top.
Oh, yeah.
And deer antler spray.
Yeah.
I miss that.
So shame is easy to avoid. Just to put a bow on this, just don't experience shame.
Yeah.
Don't feel it.
Right.
Numb to it. Let's go to James in Virginia. James, go ahead.
Hey guys, I need your help. Now, here's the situation. I met this girl, okay, and I've been with her for maybe a few months, and I found out that she got bad breath. I mean, just terrible breath. Mm-hmm. But then after, doing my investigation, and confronting her, I found out that she had bad teeth. So it's causing the bad breath. So now it's going to take maybe thousands of dollars to get her mouth fixed, and I don't even kiss her. Like, our conversation is over her shoulder. So what should I do? Should I just leave her, or should I just stick with her and try to get this $1,000 thing go? Because she had a medical plan, but her dental plan is just terrible.
All right, you got to look at it like a GM, okay? Every GM needs to find a diamond in the rough. Do you believe she's a diamond in the rough type, barring the teeth and the breath?
I don't know, because I haven't kissed her yet.
No, but I'm saying, like, just the looks, buddy. Just, or the package, what she does for a living, all that. Like, all the stuff that goes into wanting to be in a relationship.
Her personality
whether you
would
get
be nice
along,
to mention right now.
Whether you get
her personality.
Yeah,
Would you be willing to bypass some of the warts because there is a diamond in the rough, is what George is trying to say.
Man. But anyway,
listen, bad breath is a deal breaker for me. I'd end it right there.
Yeah, me too.
It doesn't sound like you're in too deep considering you haven't kissed her just yet. I know that's on account of the teeth, but perhaps if it's 4 months and you still don't know where you stand, maybe I don't want to do this, but maybe get out.
Yeah, time to go.
Yeah, James, get the hell out.
Yeah, get out.
And wherever you go, find the new phone.
Yeah.
Let's go to Mike in Florida. Mike, go ahead. You're on ESPN Radio.
Hey, guys, love the show. Hey, I'm directing this at Stu, but I don't know about the other guy's marriage situation. So, Stu, got a wedding. My daughter's getting married in a month. I'm remodeling my house currently. Oof. My wife and I are having this conversation, and she says, hey, let's not get each other a Christmas present. I'm thinking, oh, right, I'm going to save some money on that at least. And then I go, oh, that might be a trap.
It's a trap.
So, Stu, is it a trap?
Run. Hold on. It's so funny because last night was the first night of Hanukkah. And by the way, Tariq Cohen and your family, happy Hanukkah to you.
Yeah.
Same with you, JoJo Smith-Schuster. The Schusters, of course.
Or Juju
Smith. I call them JoJo Smith. This just happened to me last night. Whenever your wife tells you not to do something, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? She said the same thing. Honey, married 15 years. I love you. You love me. No need to exchange Hanukkah gifts. So I didn't get her a Hanukkah gift.
And?
We get home last night, first night of Hanukkah. I was talking to Mike Ryan right afterwards. She pulls out the gift. I didn't have a gift.
A gift that you paid for?
A gift that she bought me with my credit card.
Right.
Yes.
With your Amazon account.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. I didn't have a gift. Whatever your wife says, do the opposite. We're back after this. The Russillo Show. I am tired, dude. I'm starting to slur my speech. Everything's bad on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Thankfully, we're not on TV today. Hit us up on the 1-800-Flowers.com Twitter feed at Russillo Show. And remember, the Ryen Russillo Show is brought to you by ZipRecruiter.com. Try it for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/Russ. That's RUSS. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Russ. RUSS. What are you laughing at?
Because that's short for Russillo.
I got it, Mike. Thank you.
It's just not what you called the show.
I know.
That's Stugotz Mike Ryan. We have Jorge Sedano in studio with us, and we wanted to speak with George about what's going on down here locally with this big national story that's being celebrated. Giancarlo Stanton to the Yankees, but down here locally, Miami's burned once again, and George is a Miami guy.
Yeah,
and he could sort of help articulate what we're feeling down here. Another POV of rage.
Well, the line I've had is, didn't Derek Jeter retire from the Yankees? Like, it still feels like he's working for them at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to get a second monument in Monument Park.
Right.
One is an executive. Yeah.
Right. But, man, it's pretty weird how Derek Jeter is taking this criticism, right? Like, you got to know it's bothering him, because for Don Mattingly to address it and say that it's unfair means that people in the organization are clearly talking about it, and it's something he's definitely not used to.
Sure. Here's the hard thing to figure out. It's really tricky unless you really know all the details, right? Is Derek Jeter simply cleaning up a mess that was created by the former owner, or is he creating a whole new mess? 'Cause I don't know. I
It could be both. Those aren't mutually exclusive.
Right.
It could be both. Yes, Loria was a terrible owner. The franchise was a mess. Yes, they claim to be losing money. However, I really don't see why you spend $1.1 billion on a business that is always losing money. But you know how people can get creative with that. He thought, much like Major League Baseball thought, with this plan, his name would be enough to get by without any bad public relations. Because it's always worked out for Derek Jeter by merely being Derek Jeter. Not here. We're not falling for it.
Yeah, because he has no real ties to the local community, right? So it's like it doesn't matter. If he had ties to any community outside of New York, maybe it's Tampa because the Yankees play there in the exhibition season, and he's got a home there. We all know about the mansion, Casa de Jeter.
Yes.
But yeah, like he's got to prove himself here. Like this is one of those deals where it's just like, yeah, your name is cool, but you don't have any experience doing this job, and he's shown to be a complete neophyte here with this particular trade.
Right. I've been telling Mike, like, just the optics on it are so bad for Jeter and Major League Baseball.
Well, being at Monday Night Football is pretty bad optics too. While you're supposed to be at the winter meetings.
Yeah, he said he couldn't go to the winter meetings. I was imagining, okay, baby and whatnot, nice, beautiful young family.
Right.
Nope. Monday Night Football.
Right. It appears Major
Just
League
hanging.
Baseball, because they wanted Jeter to be an owner so bad, they're just going to let Jeter do whatever he wants. He should be, you guys are right, he should be up at those meetings. But even going back, selling the team to Jeter when George Moss, a local businessman down here in South Florida, wanted to buy the team for less than $1 billion. Not too much less, though, but wanted to buy the team.
But he wouldn't have stripped it down.
He wouldn't. That's the thing.
He has the benefit of saying that. We don't know until he actually.
True. Fair enough.
So Major League Baseball gives Jeter a team that Jeter can't afford. Jeter's paying himself $5 million a year, and the first big move Derek Jeter does is trade the reigning NL MVP back to the team in the city that he loves more than the team in the city that he owns.
For pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. I mean, he got basically, an 18-year-old kid that we don't know what he's going to amount to.
It was just a salary dump.
Yeah.
They essentially put him on waivers.
Right. And had they not been so desperate because financially they seem to be strapped, you would have been able to wait this thing out. Because remember when the Marlins traded Miguel Cabrera, Dave Dombrowski and the Tigers gave them, at the time, we thought were great prospects and picked up the freight. So it's not impossible to say that you can do both.
Yeah.
I mean, man, we talk about it on our show all the time. They traded Babe Ruth twice. They made the Babe Ruth trade twice.
Yeah.
The Marlins. All right, Charles Barkley was on with Golick and Wingo and had some interesting comments on LeVar Ball. So we will play those comments back for you. Very strong comments on LeVar Ball. We'll play those back for you next, and we'll react to them here on the Ryen Russillo Show on ESPN Radio.
Jody Avirgan here. I'm glad you're enjoying 30 for 30 podcast, part of a special collection of sports audio documentaries from ESPN Films. We're finding the best sports stories for you right now. And to do that, we're behind the wheel of the Mini Countryman, the biggest mini yet.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
To find great sports stories, you have to get out into the world and follow your instincts. That's where the Mini Countryman's all-wheel drive comes in handy. With all four, we can chase down a story in the city, the country, and most places in between. Podcast equipment isn't very bulky, but even if we're hauling a lot of gear, there's plenty of cargo space for all your stuff. And if a few of our producers tag along, no problem. The Mini Countryman comfortably seats 5 adults. The Countryman may be big, but it still drives like a Mini thanks to the twin-power turbo engine. No matter what story you're chasing, the Mini Countryman will help you find it. It's available now, and so are 30 for 30 podcasts. Visit miniusa.com/countryman today.
It is my 7th consecutive hour of doing sports radio. 7! I am on my 7th hour of hosting radio shows. 7 consecutive hours. Whew. I am slurring. I feel drunk right now. Hammered. What did I just say during the break, Mike? What's the game that's coming up at 3:15? So, Rudy, what's the name of this game?
What's called over, under, or properly rated.
Okay, how did I pronounce it during the commercial break, Mike? Here is live footage of what I sound like during the commercial break.
Yeah, you're going a little kooky.
Woo! So, Rudy, have you guys noticed it back there? I am losing my mind.
I think in the breaks, we're all good. Conversation's great. And then once the on-air product goes, you kind of lose it a little bit.
Yeah, well, we'll get to the sound of Charles Barkley in a second. Speaking of the breaks, what were you guys talking about, Rudy, during the break? What was going on there?
All right, so basically, Rick DiPietro used to play goalie for the Islanders, I believe. He walked by us and had a very heavy scent of cologne.
Oh, yeah, he would. He looks
slick back hair, full
man.
suit.
He's
the
a
whole
looker.
package.
He kind of looks like a taller Cerruti.
Right. Not surprising. Not surprising.
That's a great
DiPietro.
compliment, so thank you, Mike.
Yeah, DiPietro's a good-looking guy. So,
very good-looking.
So, Rudy, do you know how good-looking you are, man?
I guess not, apparently. I guess
Right.
not, but thank you, guys. It's a lot of dudes telling me that, so I guess
You're
you should be
welcome.
pumped.
Right, you should.
So anyway, we're basically asked the question, hey, how many times do you wear cologne a year? And the over-under was 5, and I was the only one that had the over on that.
Well, I'm not shocked that you would go over on that. So Bubba's back there. Bubba, yeah, you could set the over-under at 3, and Bubba would go under.
That's true.
You said at 1, and Bubba would go under.
All right. Maybe a push.
Okay.
I'm way over that.
Occasional bar mitzvah, a wedding or something?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
I'm way over that. Oh, really?
Oh, wait, hold on. Yes, we're going to do a live look-in from the talent meeting with Ryen Russillo on the Russillo Show in a second. But Mike is one of the best-smelling men I have, people, period, that I've ever encountered. You put something on every day, don't you?
Not every day, but about 5 days a week.
All right.
And I always have an emergency stash in the car.
Do you really?
Yeah, you never know when you go to the gym or you play a pickup basketball game or a day like today where you're on the air for 7 hours.
Right.
A little bit of a freshen up.
Mikey A was under 5. Is that what you're telling me, Cerruti?
Far under.
And Mikey C is still there because he's under 0. Like, Mikey C really should be walking around with a bottle of cologne because all he does is, like, he smokes a cigarette, spray cologne, cigarette cologne, cologne. Anyway, subscribe right now to the 30 for 30 podcast in the Listen tab of the ESPN app or Apple Podcast, brought to you by Delta, making your travel experience informed, connected, and seamless. Keep climbing. Ryen Russillo was joining us live from the talent meeting on the Bristol campus to give us a live look in. Russillo joins us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Good afternoon, Ryan.
Hey, Stu. How are you?
I'm doing well. Mike Ryan's here with me as well.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, guys. Great job out of you. 6 hours in, 1 more hour to go. I really appreciate it. How did you get out of this? Is that just part of the Le Batard La Familia?
Well, filling in for you.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I guess that's not as cool. But,
no, because part of the meeting fell during the taping of Highly Questionable and our radio show, and so we, that's why. That's how.
Okay. All right. Well, it was pretty cool. A lot of famous dudes. I just saw Scottie Pippen and Jalen Rose get into a car service.
What?
So then there's kind of like car service guys, and then there are shuttle guys.
Right.
And Scottie Pippen wasn't a shuttle guy. But I get that. Like, you know what I mean? Whenever you're walking around the workplace and you go, well, how come that guy gets to do this guy gets to do this? I think we all in life could be a little bit more self-aware. But when I saw Scottie Pippen get into a car service, I wasn't like, I'm not going to go meet with Skipper now about why he's getting a car.
Right.
Who was holding court today? Because early reports say Joe Tess was.
Yeah, Tess started it off, and he does this thing where he had like a real hard rock phase. And he got up and he said, for my dollar, Judas Priest brings it more regularly hard than most 80s Brit bands.
Wow.
And also, that's a good Joe Tess he does.
Let me tell you about Dwayne Allman's eating habits. And then he just goes. Then there was another thing where I think this is probably why Stu wasn't there, was that Skipper launched this whole, for 2018, because mobile is king, this new thing that was called Stu's Got Next. So remember when we had the Who's Next ESPN the magazine cover?
Yes.
Like, we had this slideshow where Skipper was up there and he was just going, does it make sense to give Brady maybe 2 rings instead of 5? And we played your clip from this morning, and then we just started running through it all. And then, they got up there and they said, moving forward for the draft in 2018, we're getting rid of Mel, we're getting rid of McShay, and then they just ran clips of him breaking down players, just Stu going, he can spin it, can make all the throws, there's something you can't quantify about him. So half the meeting was about Stu, and that's probably why you weren't there, because it would have been uncomfortable.
Yeah, it would have been. This is delightful.
That's clearly the direction they're headed in, considering this is his 7th straight hour of radio.
Yes. And what do you think about that Brady take, by the way?
Skipper was up there. He goes, look, pick at the end zone. He goes, really, Atlanta's defense is the ones that fell apart. So then you mix it in with a tuck rule. Like, Skipper's like, I got 2, not 5.
Any other highlight? Was there any tension in the room? Was there any tension? Because we were asking the question. Now, I know Greeny wasn't there, but we were wondering out loud on national radio that if Greeny were there and Wingo was there and they're on opposite sides of the room, would Golick walk in late, because he always walks in late, would Golick walk in and sit closer to Greeny or closer to Wingo? So that didn't happen because Greeny didn't show up and Wingo was taping NFL Live. I'm wondering, and by the way, Scottie Pippen is on my television screen right now, so wherever that car was taking him, got him there quickly. What I'm wondering is, was there any tension in the room anywhere?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a little tension because it's just a lot of egos. But I think when they ran the clip of some of the first take highlights, right, and then there was a Stephen A. take, and then there was a Kellerman take, and I was positioned near Will Cain, and there was no Will Cain take. Right. And then he kind of sulked for a good 6 minutes, like I'm not quite sure he was paying attention to anything. And then they went back to the take slideshow, and they got a Will Cain take in there, and it was like like Wolverine coming back to life. Like he was hitting this adrenaline needle, and he started sitting straight up again, and he was like, "All right, I'm in. I'm a player. I'm a player in this thing." So that was. Had I not had the seat I had, I would have never been able to give you that kind of intel. But it was amazing.
That's probably the right approach, because if they did a Will take before a Max take, then we have a whole different problem.
There you go. And that's why you're a producer, because you get that stuff. Like a lot of people in the room, I'm not even sure they picked up on it. Right. But again, we're all sitting as close to Will.
Was Adnan paying attention at all? Because he has texted us nonstop from the meeting.
Pretty sure he FaceTimed me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw him in there until the very end, and we started talking about Steve McQueen's role in Papillon.
Of course,
so,
right. Of course.
Yeah, I mean, he was saying hi. He looked a little disheveled, but kind of like pre-disheveled. Right. And then, I always like making mistakes. Sometimes like you forget how much money Mark Teixeira has made. So he and I are just having small talk, and I was like, oh man. He was like, yeah, I'm going down to the national title game, and I was like, oh, I'm talking about sideline passer, and he's like, well, I'm bringing a bunch of friends. And then I was like, oh, no way. And he's like, yeah, you got a suite. And I'm going, oh, my. And the first thing I almost did was like, well, did you get the suite through work? And I was like, oh, no.
The way we would, yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm like, oh, yeah. No, I forgot. You were like a back NBA player for 10 years in baseball.
Yeah. Oh, that guy made $500 million.
He's a heck of a guy. Right.
Oh, no, he's fantastic. Yeah, he's fantastic.
This is a total name drop, but just like one night we were in this movie festival in Greenwich, Connecticut, right, and it was at like a luxury car dealership with Ferraris and Lambos and stuff, and he goes, hey, Russillo, let's go downstairs and look at a couple of these. I go, well, for what reason would I look at any of them? I'm just going to feel worse. So anyway, that wasn't that great of a story. I should have stopped it.
No, it's actually pretty funny because you do. Like, you tend to forget when you're up in Bristol, you tend to forget you're talking to Mark Teixeira and that he has signed $300 million worth of contracts. You forget it,
Yeah, like I co-hosted a show with Jamal Mashburn, and then I remember at one point I was like, do you miss the game at all? He goes, well, I made like $70 million not playing in the last contract, right, and I bought a bunch of car dealerships. So
he's made more. He's made more money in his post-playing carear than he did while playing.
He's a mogul. I think he has a bunch of Papa Johns.
Yeah, like he's a real mogul. It's not just in his bio on Twitter.
Right. Russillo, this was delightful, man. Just a tremendous live update from the ESPN talent meetings. What's next here? Is there a gathering? Are you guys having some drinks, dinner? What's going on next?
I left. I went to go play basketball.
Okay, all right. Well,
Scottie Pippen?
I was like, man, I'm off today, and I have about another free hour. So right, I'm gonna go play some pickup hoops, afternoon hoops
with Pippen and Jalen.
Yes.
Nice.
I think those guys did do because whenever they're like, oh, you play a little, yeah, we should get together and play. I'm like, I'm gonna go play right now, and they're like, we'll see you there, and they never show up.
All right, man. We'll listen to you tomorrow, man. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon off here, okay?
Hey, seriously, thank you guys very much for what you did today. That meant a lot. Really
it's our pleasure, and thank you for trusting us to do it. Although, and when you see the feedback, I'm not certain you'll be thanking us. Okay?
No. I mean, like I said, with you, I can never tell what's going to happen if everybody. Like, I actually think more people probably like you that like my show. I don't think that there's that big of I don't think there'll be all sorts of people going like, oh, this is the worst. Why is Stu here? So, whatever. I'm not remotely worried about it. And this got way too serious. And you're the future of the company if you look at all the stuff we did.
Yes,
Stu got next.
Yep, I like that. I mean, that's, right, the S in ESPN stands for Stu. All right, thank you, Russillo.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that is Ryen Russillo. It's the Ryen Russillo Show here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. I am approaching 6 hours and 15 minutes of live radio.
Still standing. You have an eyeball booger.
So does Clooney. Thanks to Ryan for joining us in the last segment. Thanks to Sedano for sitting in for a couple of segments with us. Todd McShay as well in the first hour. I am approaching 7 hours and 20 minutes of consecutive live radio today.
You're cracking.
I am. Yeah, I'm losing my
mind. Yeah, not just your mind. Your face is actually cracking.
Is it really?
Yes.
So is Clooney. Is it 6 hours? Now I've lost track of time. Our show is 4 hours, so I am approaching 6 hours and 20 minutes of live radio.
Time is officially a flat circle. Yeah. I think we've somehow gone back to 8:30 a.m.
Yes. Man. Hit us up on the 1-800-Flowers.com Twitter feed, @Russillo Show. The Ryen Russillo Show on ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Now you can test drive Snapshot even if you have insurance with another company. See how much you could save before you make the switch. Coming up next, over, under, or properly rated. That is coming up next. You guys might have to explain that game to Mike one more time.
I still don't get it.
Before we get to it next segment. But first, this is some sound we played on our show earlier today. Charles Barkley was on with Golic and Wingo.
There you go.
Thank you. I always forget, is it Wingo first or Golic first? But it's Golic and Wingo.
It's written in the deal. Golic first.
Yes. Well, he's earned that. Yes.
Yeah.
He's earned.
You know, it was called Mike and Mike, but he was very clearly the second Mike.
Correct. It was very obvious that it was Greeny and Golic.
Yeah.
Right. So now it's Golic and Wingo, and he's earned that.
Yes.
Right. And then when Golic stops.
Contractually.
Right. And then when Golic stops and Wingo keeps going with this thing, and then it will be Wingo and someone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, Charles Barkley, who's a friend of our show, really good friends with Dan, but he was on with Golic and Wingo this morning, and he was really critical of LeVar Ball. Now, there's two cuts here. Barkley just take it out, LeVar Ball. And listen, I am really not in on questioning how people want to parent their kids. I'm a parent. I have twin 13-year-old girls. I don't want people telling me how to parent my kids, and I'm certainly not going to tell people how to parent their kids. Charles Barkley is also a parent. He had no issue telling LeVar Ball that he's being a bad dad.
I just feel bad for those kids because, everybody talk about he might be a good father, this and that. No, he's not. He's just exploiting his kids. His kids, I love the kid playing for the Lakers. I don't know the other two kids. He's all about big baller brand. He has no foreseeable talent. He's trying to make money on his kids. And I just feel sadness for those kids because they're going to do whatever he tells them to do. And I just don't like the guy at all. Plain and simple. And don't tell me he's a good father. Just because you exploit your kids trying to make money because you have no talent, that does not make you a good father. That makes you exploiting your kids. And I don't like the guy at all. And I wish they would quit putting him on television because he has no talent whatsoever.
Mike, what do you think of that?
And I'm curious to hear the second bite.
I'll play in a second.
I'm curious to hear the second bite. But a lot of people in our audience are agreeing with Charles Barkley now. And I was one of those ardent supporters of Big Baller Brand and LeVar. However, with the recent move and seeing what he's done, because he was sort of told the Lakers that he was sort of going to go back into the shadows a little bit and not be a distraction.
Right.
And we've seen that that doesn't matter and that's not an option when it comes to LeVar Ball. I'm really worried about the development of the careers of his two other sons. Lonzo's already set in the NBA. But
listen, if he was exploiting his kids, then yes, I agree with Charles that he's being a bad father. If indeed he's doing that. First off, you think he's doing that with the younger kids? How much money? What he is exploiting them for? What? What is LeVar Ball making out of them playing in Lithuania? What is he gaining from that?
Well, he obviously leveraged the Ball family name
right.
and all the media coverage that goes into this. And I'm kind of worried because you see how the Lakers have already talked to him and they're banning the media from talking to LeVar, or at least trying to ban the media from talking, at least in and around their facility. You've seen what he's done in AAU culture as far as bullying head coaches. You see what he's doing now in the NBA with Luke Walton.
Sure.
I feel really badly for this organization in Lithuania because there's going to be a coach there that's just trying to win basketball games. This is a professional team.
Right. LeVar's going to coach there one day.
LeVar is going to be bullying his way, and everything is going to revolve around LaMelo and getting him ready for the NBA.
You see, I don't feel bad for the Lakers because Rob Pelinka, he was at the Ball house before they drafted Lonzo Ball, and he pulled LeVar aside and he said, hey, we're going to take your kid, and when we do, you need to tone it down. And LeVar said, okay. That's on Pelinka and the Lakers for believing that nonsense. But in terms of him does it not matter to anyone that the kids who are old enough to form an opinion on this, the kids are saying to you, hey, Dad is great. He's always there. He's always supporting me. He's always around. He knows what makes me tick. Love our dad. We know plenty of people who don't have a dad. We love our dad. Our dad is always around and always got our back, and they seem happy. Those kids seem happy. I'm not into judging other people and how they parent their kids. I'm just not.
I am now, dude, a little bit.
But if the kids come out and say, listen, Dad's great. We love him. You don't know him. We're with him every second of every day. We do. We love him. He's a great supportive father. That means nothing to anyone?
I think, let's not make this the Ball family and NBA prospects. If you took a kid, your child, out of school when he's not some sort of big hotshot, I'm talking about Jello right now, because LaMelo's got some prospects. The middle kid, though, he's not thought of. You saw those Woj tweets. He's not thought of as an NBA prospect. Why are you taking that dude out of college when he can actually learn something and prepare for a life post this circus? You're taking him over to Lithuania? Why?
Professional ball, man.
But he's not a professional basketball player.
He is now. He just signed a contract.
Touche.
I mean, he's going to listen.
LeVar is going to bully this coach, and it's going to be a scene.
I don't want to make now we're going to go into a place like college is better. Says who? Who says college is better? 95% of the stuff that you learn as you go through our educational system, you will never apply again in a meaningful way, a way that's going to make you money for the remainder of your life.
You just
made college is better?
You just made that set up.
You're right. I did make it up. It's 99%,
I took a communications course. I know the core fundamentals of our job.
Go to UCLA and take a philosophy course, and that's going to help you out?
You think he's taking philosophy courses?
Whatever he takes, it doesn't matter. He's not going to apply it to the remainder of his life. People don't. They don't.
But they applied degrees.
Yes. So figure out the one thing that you want to do and pursue it. This kid has figured it out. It's basketball. They're pursuing it. Figure out the one thing you want to do. All right. We didn't get to the second soundbite, by the way.
I wanted to hear it, too.
Did you?
But I got the gist of it.
We're not.
Charles is upset.
All right. Coming up next. Yes. Charles is upset. All right. Over, under, or properly rated. That is up next on ESPN Radio. Stugotz Mike Ryan filling in for Ryen Russillo today on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Right now, I am 6 hours and 35 minutes into hosting a radio show. I have been on the air hosting radio shows in some form or fashion for the last 6 hours and 35 minutes. 35 minutes. 25 to go. Are you ready to play this game, Mike?
I'm not sure I understand it.
All right, before we get to it, phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Get instant gold status at Shell. Join the Fuel Rewards program now at fuelrewards.com/gold. What is the name of the game, and can you explain the game to us, Cerruti?
It is called overrated, underrated, or properly rated. You are given something. It could be literally anything, and you have to tell us whether it's over, under, or properly rated.
Okay. Mike, you got it now?
I think I got it. I wrote it down. What he said.
Well,
pretty complicated stuff.
Just going through my notes.
All right. And is it sponsored or anything? Is there an open to it?
No, we haven't done this in a while, actually. This is special.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Wow. Because I texted Cerruti last night that I want the entire Russillo experience here. Like when I did Mike and Mike, I wanted the full, when I first filled in for him, I wanted the total experience. I wanted fill in the blank. I wanted off the top. I wanted all the games. And Cerruti understood that and said, these are the only two that we have.
Oh, I thought there was a game called What?
Yeah, well, I want to play that game as well.
What is a variation of advice, basically? It's basically just callers asking what.
No, it's not, because it has a different title.
You're right.
It counts as a different game.
Also could have had you guys do Pulse of the Nation, which is our Boston accent segment, but I didn't know if that was okay, if you guys wanted to do that.
No.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
Boston accent.
Mike might be good at that. I wouldn't be good at it. All right, so what do we do here? There's no open. You just throw out words to us, and we give you our rating,
and you rate it exactly. Bubba's got some music.
All right, now I got it.
All right, hold on. Let's give us some music. Good. Is this the typical music? Like, is this the music that accompanies this segment all the time?
I think it varies. It rotates.
Varies.
Okay. All right.
We have any Goo Goo Dolls?
Unfortunately, no. Bubba?
Okay.
Here we go. First one.
All right.
Over, under, or properly rated, the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
Well, that's a good question.
You seem to be struggling here with
Well,
this.
no, because I don't know how it's received, but so I can't say it's properly rated because I don't know how people rate it.
But
I don't know.
But it's subjective. What do you think it is?
I think it's overrated.
Overrated.
Oh, wow. How about that?
That's actually, this game is awesome now.
Right.
So does he have to explain why he thinks it's overrated now? Is that how
he can, or he
goes?
can just leave it at whatever he wants to do.
All right. Dan, overrated, underrated.
Yeah. Okay, I'd like to take a crack at it
Go
now.
ahead.
I'm going to say underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got. That's cool.
All right.
I
Okay.
like that.
No expansion.
No, wait. I want to say underrated again. Underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah,
Nice,
this is a good game, you guys. I like it.
Cerruti, how do you feel about this?
About your show?
Yeah, go ahead. Over, under, properly.
Yeah, we should ask you.
No.
No. What
No,
are
yeah,
we?
come on,
No.
Cerruti,
Answer
come
it.
on.
The game's going.
Be honest.
I'll say properly rated.
Properly rated.
So he's being
Yeah.
See what I did there?
political there. Yeah. No, we didn't see what you did there. Bubba, go ahead. You'll be honest with us. Go ahead, Bubba.
Underrated.
There we go.
Underrated.
Boy. Is anyone else in there? Is Mikey A in there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm going to go with overrated.
Overrated.
Okay. I've been keeping score here, and I believe Bubba and I won.
All right, good. Good job. All right, next one.
What about the Dan Le Batard Show without Dan Le Batard?
Underrated.
Yeah, underrated.
Yeah,
Underrated.
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 I mean, we're doing this for 7 straight hours.
Yeah.
We're fried.
Yeah, we are fried.
Stugotz's left eyebrow just fell off.
It did. It actually did. It's in my hand right now.
How many people can do this? We got a talented ensemble. Everybody is a hybrid of producer and talent. It's incredible.
Cerruti, the Dan Le Batard Show without Dan Le Batard. Over, under, properly.
Under. Definitely
underrated.
There we go.
Attaboy.
All right.
Bubba, you'll be honest with us. Go ahead, Bubba.
Got to be underrated.
Underrated.
Just so you know, I am keeping score, and I am killing everybody.
Mikey A?
Overrated.
Overrated.
You're in last place.
Fair.
I mean, all the nice things I've done for Mikey A over the years, which is nothing, basically.
A lot of mics on radio.
All right, next one, Cerruti.
What about the Ryen Russillo Show?
Oh, wow. Properly rated. See what I did there?
Yep.
Properly
well
rated.
Thank you.
Care to explain?
No, it's just however people rate it, I agree with it.
Okay. I'm going to go now. I'm going to say underrated.
Nice.
Underrated.
Truth be told, I'm usually either at the gym or napping around this time, so I don't get to listen to the show.
Right.
So I didn't know a couple things about it. I didn't know how devastatingly handsome Cerruti was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I've known that for a while.
I didn't know how chill the guests around it. And McShay's on every week, and that dude's awesome.
Yep, he's great.
I've had a great time today.
So have I.
So I'm going to say this is an underrated show.
Right.
Underrated.
I'm going to go underrated as well. I'm going to go underrated.
Underrated.
Well, because I think here's what I think Russillo needs.
That's
I
another
think,
point for
and I'm
me.
not saying it's Will Kane, although Will Kane is great.
Yes.
But I think Russillo needs like someone in there who is a number 2, because I think Will fancies himself as a number 1, and that's fine.
Well, his hair is on my rankings. It is number 1.
Right, gold medalist. But I think Ryan needs someone in there who possesses some of the qualities and traits that Ryan doesn't have.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, hair is one of them, and Will's
yes.
got that.
Right. But I was talking personality traits, not physical traits.
Okay.
So that's all. But, yes, the show's underrated. Russillo's very funny, man. It's dry humor, but he's really funny.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go underrated.
Sneaks up on you.
Yeah, let's ask his staff. Cerruti, Russillo Show, under properly.
Underrated.
Underrated.
Nice. Bubba, you'll be honest with us. Go ahead.
It's an underrated show.
Underrated.
Mikey A, what do you got?
Overrated.
Yeah.
Overrated.
All right.
All right. You'll be happy to know that I have a 5-point lead right now.
Nice. Well done. Where's Bubba in the...
Bubba is second place.
All right. I love Bubba.
He's down 5.
Cool.
He can make it up here.
Cool.
Oh,
wow.
All right.
Very
This game's underrated.
All right. Next, Cerruti.
All right, next one, Mike Ryan's Kuiper impression.
Oh, wow.
We have the audio.
Todd, Red Wine by UB40. It's actually a Neil Diamond song, and you could actually check it out. It's definitely a Neil Diamond song. You could pot it up on your Apple Music or Spotify. Red Wine by Neil Diamond. Absolute classic, Todd.
All right, so I know Mike well enough to know that, and I know the impersonation well enough to know that was not Mike's best work.
Not my best work.
He's done it better. So
I need time to get in the character.
We think it's really good on our show. So I'm going to say properly rated for Mike.
Properly rated.
Okay.
I'm going to say that bite over there was overrated.
Okay, good.
Overrated.
Cerruti, what do you got?
I think it's properly rated. I think you nailed like the cadence and all that stuff, so it's pretty good.
I waited too late to get to the definitely. Definitely is what really gets me in my cadence. It's definitely the key to the whole impression, even though I don't think he says definitely all that often.
That was a lot better. Now I'm going underrated.
Underrated.
What do you got up there, Bubba?
I agree. This one wasn't your best, but a big fan overall. Properly rated.
Properly rated.
Mikey A.
Overrated.
Overrated.
He has no idea what Spotify or Apple iTunes music is, so overrated.
You know what? That's why you're in last place.
Yeah,
we got a tight one here, folks. Bubba just tied me up, so this one's for the win.
This is it,
cool.
guys. This is for all the marbles. You got it back there?
This is huge.
Okay.
Last one. The grid of death.
Oh, wow. That's a good question. The grid of death on our show. For those of you who don't know, we have a grid of death. We put our hands into a bucket of death. There are random helmets in there. We pick them every single week on our show. We usually do it on Friday. It's a suicide pool. Well, whatever helmet we get, that's the team we're stuck with for that week in the NFL. And then there's a grid of death where if you lose, you have to pick your punishment. Yesterday, I did the entire show wearing a straitjacket, just to give you an example.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Mike?
I think it's overrated.
Overrated.
I do too. I think it's overrated.
We're always fighting. We're always
Yeah.
fighting each other.
Yeah. Now, secretly, I want it to go away. So, Rudy, what do you think here?
I think it's good. I think it's properly rated. Maybe it's not something you do for the next 5 years, but it's good now.
Okay. Bubba?
I think there are some unbelievable hits, but way too many misses and way too many fights. Overrated.
Overrated.
All right, and that's because of Mike Ryan, because he's a control freak. Mikey A., go ahead.
This one's underrated.
Underrated.
Wow. All right, so real quick before we wrap it up here on the Russillo Show, Mike, who won today's game?
All right, I'm adding up the...
Do you guys normally have a winner to the game here, Cerruti?
No, this is like around the horn kind of deal.
Okay,
Points
cool.
don't
So
matter.
who won? Mike is adding up. Hold on, he's doing a tally right now.
Wow. This has never happened before. 50-50.
Whoa.
Really cool.
Bubba and I both win.
Cool.
All right, coming up next, I slur my words, and
we crawled to the finish line.
I crawled to the finish line. 7 hours of live radio wraps up next. Tell us how we did today in the 1-800-Flowers.com Twitter feed at Russillo Show. You can tell us. I'm telling you, I don't really care.
I don't care.
I mean, I'm approaching 7 hours, 6 hours and 50 minutes of live radio. Like, go ahead. We love 1-800-Flowers. Go to the Twitter feed and tell us how we did today. And I'm telling you, I don't care. We did our job today. We did good. Who's filling in for Bomani next? I don't even know. Is it Jeff Ricard and John Hood? Is that who's filling in?
That is correct.
All right, thank you.
Is it pronounced the way that he said it? Because it didn't sound like he had much confidence.
Ricard, I did not.
Yeah. Was it Richard?
I believe it's Rickard.
Okay.
Oh, it's Rickard,
Jeff
huh?
Rickard.
Yeah.
John Hood.
And John Hood, yeah.
I know John.
It's an easy name.
Yeah.
Inexplicably, Mike Ryan, who was on the rise here at ESPN, is hitching his wagon to Teddy Atlas.
Yeah.
Mike wants to create a Teddy Atlas Christmas. He wants it to air on ESPN. This is his big project. And I'm telling you, Mike's 32 years old. I talked to plenty of executives at ESPN. He is on the rise. People have his eye on Mike Ryan. They love him. He's a smart kid. He's a great talent. He's got a good sense of humor. He does decent impersonations. But he has hitched his wagon to Teddy Atlas, a Teddy Atlas Christmas, based off of this fight that Teddy Atlas and Stephen A. Smith had on SportsCenter after the fight. And this fight was better than the actual fight that they were talking about.
Even with oversight, I could sit here and give you a laundry list of situations in various sports where there was oversight and there was still corruption. What happens is there's ramifications for those corruptions and that you eliminate it. The fact of the matter is, with this judge, you eliminate this person. You make sure Judge Berg, the official Berg, is not around.
Again. She will be working again. I make you a bet. I love you. I make you a bet.
Okay.
The I love you is just so random and out of nowhere. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was waiting for the I love you again. That's a producer in me.
Yeah.
So now, because of this sound happening and their chemistry, I want to have a very Teddy Atlas Christmas holiday special
It's so
on
strange.
ESPN.
Yeah, very strange.
And it starts with a slow pan to a cabin that's in the middle of a snowy field.
Mhm.
And we zoom into a window and we see a very sad Teddy Atlas whose Christmas spirit has been broken by the bad weather and he needs to be cheered up. And we found out with Jorge Sedano in here that Stephen A. is the one that rescues his holiday spirit by hot-taking his way and melting all the ice to the door. And then there's several musical numbers, and it's filled with holiday cheer. And I started writing out some of the musical numbers.
Oh, really? That's great. And so here is the soundtrack. Here is the soundtrack. So imagine that tiny little Teddy, snow, blizzard, winter. He's stuck in this cabin. Stephen A. is blowing hot takes to blow the smoke off. And eventually, he's going to get in there and save Teddy, and they're going to embrace each other. It's a holiday season. Here is the soundtrack. I want the Whitney Houston one, Bubba, okay? Here is the soundtrack that accompanies everything that me and Mike just described.
Now, while that's great, while that's terrific,
it's
also not holiday music.
Okay.
I need a holiday number.
Okay.
I need Teddy Atlas singing something along the lines of, "You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donna and Blitzen. But can you recall, Stephen, the most famous reindeer of all?" And then Stephen A. starts singing Rudolph.
We got that. Yeah.
He picks it up right there.
Okay.
You don't think this works?
No, I don't. I mean, listen, you want to hit your wagon to Teddy Atlas, go ahead. I'm going to stay right here with Le Batard. I love you.
I love you.
Bomani Jones is up next.
I love you.